This week in games, let's break down the Nintendo Direct Partners Showcase, predict what will be at the PlayStation State of Play, and Overwatch is coming back on track. This is the Two Penny Gamescast. What's poppin', players? Welcome back to the Two Penny Gamescast, episode 286. I am your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my good friend and co-host. Say hello to the people, Connor Elliott.
Hi, how are you? It's a beautiful day today, if you can't see from the sun shining behind my curtain.
Yeah, we're at that point in the year where, like, midday, it's pretty warm, but, like, early morning, late at night, it gets a little chilly. It's not, like, cold, because there is a point in the year here in Central Texas where it's like, oh, it's like fucking 30 degrees in the morning and then 80 in the afternoon and then, like, back down to 30, like, at midnight or whatever. We're not there. It's more like 50, 80, 50. And I just wish Texas, pick a season. Just pick one.
I would wish it would, but I like the chilliness and then the nice warm sun heating my skin up. Don't you like that?
I don't like that. I want to be able to leave my house for the day and my clothes be appropriate for the entire day. I would like that,
yes.
You know? It's fine if it
Everything has
rains.
to work
If it rains and I'm unprepared, then it just rained and I was unprepared. That's what it was. But when it's like, ooh, burr, down to, fuck, I'm sweating, and then back to, ooh, burr, no, I don't like that.
Tavin, you'll find something to complain about. You'll always will. You know, the weather just can't satisfy you. You know, it's not even the extremes of either weather, and you're still not. You're not complacent in the world.
Connor, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I will always find something to complain about, and that is going to be proven here in this episode of the Gamescast, which is, of course, a weekly show in which Connor and I come to you every week with the nerdy news you need to know concerning the video game industry. We each come to you with two topics, two pennies, if you will, and we give you our 2 cents on them. And we've got an interesting week this week. It's news, but it's like hyper specific and then like very general. So I'm very interested to see what this conversation is going to be, what it's going to turn into, and if anybody's going to watch it. But
dude, there's some crazy stuff. People have to tune in. They got to know the new news.
They got to know the new news.
It's a crazy week.
Of course, ladies and gentlemen, you can catch this show live every Monday afternoon, twitch.tv/2pennygames. And if you can't catch us live, catch us over at youtube.com/@2pennygames in mainstream podcast services of your choice every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Central Time. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we are not the only ones here putting in our 2 pennies, our 2 cents, if you will. You can also put in your 2 cents on the show and different topics by commenting. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on any of our platforms, whether that be YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, anywhere like that. And you can get your comments read on the show, much like on the Kojima is a double-edged sword video, but from TikTok. Ivan says that's absolutely correct, and that's why I always compare him to George Lucas in that way. They need people around them to rein them in sometimes. Of course, this was from the Metal Gear Solid 2 review in which I criticized, hey, Kojima's great because he's like hyper creative, but he won't shut the fuck up, and he just has to over-explain everything and do it quite poorly, and is often very bloated in his writing, is what the general gist of that video was, Connor, because I know you don't remember, because I know you don't watch.
It's been so long.
It has been a while. It's been about a year since we recorded that review. It's been over a year. And to that point, that's an interesting comparison. I've always compared Kojima to Tarantino, personally. But he does have some of that George Lucas-ism, especially like prequel George Lucas era isms to him as well. So that's an interesting comparison. I don't hate it. I think Kojima is far and away a much better director and writer than George Lucas is. But, you know, what do I
remember I saw someone's take recently that George Lucas's real passion is like editing. Like he just loves editing, and he's been
on record of saying that before. He enjoys the post-production much more than the pre and the like pre-pro and pro. Just because like it is what it is. I think I think it's a mix of like he needs people to make really good choices for him, and then he can pick from those really good choices. And then, you know, hopefully he picks the best parts of those good choices. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Which of course, editing is choice making, and it can be quite difficult choice making at times as well. But yeah, like he's been on record, he doesn't have a lot of patience for actors. He's not much of a writer himself. He's a great world builder and creator, but not much of a dialogue doesn't come off naturally to him.
World creator, midichlorians, those go.
That's great world building. That's great. I mean, nobody wants to know that part because that's not what the original thing was pitched to us as, But
his greatest contribution is Glub Shido, though.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Glub Shido. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but Glub Shido or Schlitto or something like that is just to describe the weird fucking random aliens that are in Star Wars.
That
you just
they refer to them. They refer to any random character as a Glup Shido, as in
Shido.
You guys don't know Glup Shido?
Yeah,
whatever. Fake fan.
Like the guy with the multiple nipples. I think there was a guy like that. It probably was.
Phil Shoemaker from the Peanut Gallery. Okay, interesting. I like in the original 1977 cut of Star Wars. When you get to the Mos Eisley Cantina, it's very clearly just whatever they picked up from a Spirit Halloween store. All right, here's a wolf mask. All right, cool. We'll use that.
Come on, you're undercutting the grand vision that is George Lucas's Star Wars franchise.
I mean, I think I'm undercutting the amount of budget he had for his grand vision of a Star Wars franchise. But the ships look great. Ships look fantastic. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, Connor, I want to jump to the audience's second penny of the day.
There's another.
It's a more yes, Connor. I try to do two. It doesn't always happen, but I try to do two.
Yeah.
This one's actually from Everything That's Wrong with Dark Souls 2, the short that we made, again from TikTok. Crawdadio, 18, says, strongly agree with this. My biggest issue with the game is it misunderstands what made DS1 great as well. They focused too much on the hard factor and missed the heart and soul of DS1 by quite a bit. Now, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that, it definitely misunderstood DS1 as a general thing, mainly with level design. But I think the hard factor was just not as focused in the right direction, rather than them focusing too much on it just being hard. Whereas the enemies kind of were a bit more difficult individually in the original Dark Souls. Dark Souls 2 is more about getting ganged up on by multiple enemies. And so I still think the main issue is overwhelmingly the level design. And that does attribute so much to the heart and soul of Dark Souls because people like that interconnectivity. Yeah. It's the most positive thing that's still said about Dark Souls 1 to this day, I think, overall. And so, I mean, there's a reason why in the minds of most people, Dark Souls 1 is the best Dark Souls, the better Dark Souls game. Of course, Dark Souls 3 is better than both of them, but that's beside the point. It was Crawdadio, I feel like this guy's a Dark Souls 2 hater, but I'll give him his the benefit of the doubt and say
Dark Souls 2 gives him plenty of reasons to hate, Connor. Plenty of reasons to hate. I do want to say I do agree that they did kind of lean into the we are Dark Souls and we are hard. Not necessarily in the ways that make the game more difficult, but just more frustrating. Specifically the first trophy I got is the trophy This is Dark Souls, which is die for the first time, which when I popped that trophy I went, this just reeks of snide basement dwelling you gotta get good. It's the Simpsons comic book nerd vibes to it. I'm like
You see, Tavin, that's just more about you than it does about the game. You're gonna die, man, but they tell you from the beginning. Yeah, see, that's why it's all about feeling with you in this regard, because you feel slighted, like it's insulting you. You beat the game. You're like any kind of criticism the franchise would have about you, Tavin, is null and void. At least as long as you keep beating them. The moment you lose and you put the game down and you don't finish it, that's when it applies to you.
I don't think.
But you're worried about that reality.
I mean, it was closest in Dark Souls 2, not because the game was difficult, but just because the game wasn't good.
The game wasn't good. This guy, I heard him scream. I heard the raw emotion from his voice playing that game. That's pure. It's not fake.
Listen,
not
Connor, just
fake,
because I'm a man of passion and you're a man of fucking, I was gonna say subtlety, but that doesn't even describe you well. I'll just say blankness. There's nothing to you,
Oh, come on, Tavin. I am Dark Souls 2 is my personality. That's not blank. That's a beautiful canvas.
That's the Dark Souls 2 is my personality. Connor, let's move along to our first topic of the day. This is going to be my first penny of the day. We're going to give a quick breakdown of the Nintendo Partner Direct show, the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. I am pulling from the Game Informer's everything announced at the February Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase by Eric Van Allen. But before we jump into it, Connor, did you watch the showcase?
I watched I didn't watch like another edition coming to Nintendo Switch. Like we'll get into it. Like, for example, I didn't need to know that Indiana Jones, what that looks like on the Nintendo Switch. I just didn't need.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It was announced, one of the Bethesda games.
I understand that part. Did you watch
I didn't watch the whole actual event. I watched the things that were shown at the event.
Okay, so you did like a breakdown.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like what we're reading now.
There we go. All right. I watched it. I was kind of falling asleep in it, which is this Direct Partner Showcase was a bit of a nothing burger. We kind of expected it to be a bit of a nothing burger, but it was an extra nothing burger. Like it was even lesser than what I thought. I thought Elden Ring on Switch 2 was a lock and nowhere to be seen, which makes me very concerned, not only for that, but also the Duskbloods. I'm like, oh boy, this might be messy.
I get with the Duskbloods, they might want to do a bigger thing than this show would allow. But yeah, I was still surprised. When I saw partners, I was assuming that was going to be included on that. But
let me clarify. Even though we talked about it and we had, hypothesized and predicted that maybe Duskbloods would show up, I knew Duskbloods was not going to be here because of course they would want their own. Here's the 35-minute direct purely about the Duskbloods. You know what I mean? But I was expecting Elden Ring, and it wasn't here, and I was very shocked by that. Yeah, this direct was a partner showcase direct, which is a bunch of, all right, cool, here's a bunch of random games, but this one I think even was lesser than even that, where we got like a whole section where they were like, here's a bunch of anime-inspired video games, and I was like, okay, time for me to not pay attention for the next 5 minutes. Holy shit. I don't understand why we did a direct for all of this. I think this could have just been a bunch of uploads to the Nintendo YouTube channel.
Yeah, I don't think Nintendo understands that people have an expectation of being excited for these things when they happen. And so when you do a whole big direct like this, I get their intention. You have so many things you want to get out there, and just releasing them individually isn't so great. It doesn't get as much attention on it. But at the same time, yeah, everyone's take on it has been pretty disappointing, that they just didn't really need to clock in to watch this at all. And I know it seems kind of weird, but it's almost like they should do something that's not called a Nintendo Direct for these things. Like, just to separate.
I mean, I guess that's what the partner showcase part is doing, but those words are not doing enough heavy lifting to describe what this is. Like, they need like here's your first quarter Nintendo update. Like it needs to be more corporate. It needs to be more boring language in its title and in description, because like, who is this for? Because the average person who's not tapped in to gaming on this level is not going to watch these directs anyway. And so when you just show us a bunch of old games that are now coming to Nintendo Switch 2, we just kind of shrug our shoulders and go, okay, yeah, but so what? Like,
exactly. And the fact that, you said partner showcase was expected to do more heavy lifting than it needed to. That's just a very corporate way to frame the name of this Nintendo Direct. So just go all the way with it. Let the games themselves be the artistic flair, not the whole event itself. I mean, the fact Todd Howard was really being hated on. I understand why people are annoyed with Todd Howard. The hate's kind of overdone. But even so, it was just like, oh yeah, more Bethesda games.
Well, and I saw a lot of hate for, spoilers, those big 3 Xbox games coming to Nintendo Switch. And I go, I don't understand what the problem is. Like, it's a partner showcase. Like, it's always boring like this. And so, like, I understand we all want the really cool one more thing, but those don't happen every time. And so when you go, 3 major Xbox games are coming to Switch 2, I go, oh, that sounds cool. Like, neat. And then for the build up throughout the show of the rest the most interesting game to me is the first one, which is the Orbitals. And that should tell you something when the first game is the most interesting. Orbitals looks great. I'm going to give a shout out to that. we've seen this game before, but we got a pretty good look at it. This is a co-op puzzle game from Shape Farm, published by Kepler Interactive, targeting summer 2026. Very exciting for this. Looks great. Anime inspired, like classic anime inspired. Like it looks like you're watching like an early 2000s anime like show, but you're playing it, and like that looks really dope. I think the art style looks fantastic.
This is more like an 80s, 90s art style rather than a 2000s ones. Just so you know. But I do agree.
It remind like the fluidity of animation said early 2000s to me. Like I'm looking like at like an early Naruto or something. Like it's kind of the vibe I was getting.
These anime games, unfortunately, do the decision. And I mean, you clearly, not being someone that watches anime, has picked up on it too. It just kind of has that generic art style a lot of the time, and we'll see that with a lot of the other games shown here.
Yes, we will.
Not necessarily bad. You could do stuff with it, but it's kind of an easy path to make a visual style that a lot of people just all of a sudden attach onto. So it's nice that seeing Orbitals actually try to go a different direction with it, to bring back that more retro style, which people have a really great fondness for, and like you said, the fluidity of that kind of animation that comes with it, including like 2000s animes, certain 2000s animes, and yeah, it's definitely one of the highlights of the show. I don't know if I'll play with you, Tavin, or Phil, but it's kind of hard to.
I would be so down. The game looks fun.
I'll definitely play.
Yeah, the game looks like a really solid co-op game. I'm very interested in spinning the wheels and giving it a try and checking it out. It's probably the only game on here that I'm going to, but we're gonna keep pushing along. I'll say this game put a new term on my radar that I've not heard before, called a haze-like. Of course, Haze Light Studios, known for most recently Split Fiction and It Takes Two and Way Out, and just being like the co-op studio of the moment right now. I get it. I don't know if they're deserving of having a term named after them, but maybe I'm being a hater.
No, I get it. I mean, definitely Haze Light, as good as they are elevated. Well, you know what? Who am I to decide what game developer leaves their mark on gaming?
That's the culture. That's the people. The people decide that, right?
If they keep doing their thing, I could accept that. Like I have to accept it regardless. But I'd get behind that term as if this is what they keep on doing. It seems like that's what they're intent on. But who knows? Especially in this world of game development, this companies can fall by the wayside pretty easily, and not necessarily for decisions within their control. I think, unfortunately, Yosef was talking about how good AI is recently, so that sucks.
Who?
But isn't that his name? The guy, the guy at Hezlight.
Oh, the Hezlight. Yeah. He did say something about AI. I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah. Moving on. Paranormal Site: The Mermaid's Curse, coming February 19th, 2026. Look neat. It's a little detective game. Cool. Captain
visual novel style.
Tsubasa 2 World Fighters. Connor, did you have anything to say about it? I don't even remember what this one is.
That is something I am completely separated from. It's a soccer game. Yeah. So even though I'm not familiar with what Captain Tsubasa, I've heard it before, but yeah, it's a soccer game, flashy. Hey, you know what? It's probably better than whatever FIFA game's coming out.
Tokyo Scramble, February 11th, 2026. Looked okay if you're looking for something to play in February. I don't know why you wouldn't just wait 2 weeks and get Resident Evil Requiem, which is also
unfortunately
we're going to talk about it again. Valheim coming to Switch 2 2026. This is actually interesting. People like Valheim quite a bit. So
yeah, it's fun.
I don't think it coming to Switch is going to get me to play it, but cool for those who are into it.
It is a really good Switch game, I would say, and I also see this as a further attempt to expand their multiplayer platform, their multiplayer games, because clearly Nintendo's tried to go in that direction more, and this is a good co-op game to add to that catalog.
Well, and it's certainly being, and we can talk about this later when we get to the end, but it's one of those things of Switches, or Nintendo is very much like, hey, look, we have the hardware to not compete, but you can put your games here now. And it'll be of quality. It won't get memed. It won't get made fun of. You can do that now. And I don't think they're doing the best job of marketing it that well, because they also didn't put out dev kits for developers in the lead up to the Switch 2 launch, which was, I think, a huge mistake, and is why we have a partner showcase as limp dick as this one. Hollow
Check it
Knight
out.
Nintendo Switch 2 edition out now. Cool. If you want to play Hollow Knight on your Nintendo Switch 2, you can do that. If you already own the Switch version of the game, the Switch 2 upgrade is free. I own Hollow Knight on Switch, which means I now own the Switch 2 edition.
Oh, that's good. I was going to insult you because I haven't bought this and I want to play it.
Huh?
And now it's the perfect edition.
You have to purchase the upgrade pack in order to get the Switch 2 edition.
Damn.
A Switch 2 version of Hollow Knight with enhanced visuals and improved frame rate arrives on Nintendo handheld today. If you already own the Switch version of the game, the Switch 2 upgrade is free.
Damn.
Oh, I missed that part.
eFootball kickoff, summer 2026. The Adventures of Elliott, The Millennium Tales, June 18th, 2026. This game looks cool.
I have to play it.
You have to play it, you say.
Elliott Chronicles.
Okay.
The Adventures of Elliott.
Connor Elliott.
I'm
Sure.
gonna,
They spelled Elliott
I might
wrong,
actually.
but, you know.
Oh shit! No, I don't have to play this. Well, I might if it's really good, but not as much. You guys almost got a buyer, a buy-in buyer.
Just throw another T on the title, and he'll get you.
I would.
Super
No
Bomberman Collection out today on Switch. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is coming to Nintendo Switch 2 June 3rd,
Right.
2026. This is coming after what was, by all accounts, a really good port of 7 Remake to Switch 2. So that's really exciting. I will say this one doesn't look as visually impressive as Remake did on Switch 2. I think it's because it's open world. I think it's because there's a lot more in it. And so that doesn't, it's not like the most oh god, it's ugly. No, it still looks fine. It just definitely looks like a downgraded version, especially coming off of the PlayStation 5, whereas the 7 Remake was a PlayStation 4 game.
I mean,
wasn't the prettiest PlayStation 4 game on the market when it came out.
I wonder how it'll perform overall as you're going through the game, because it is so big of a game, and graphically it's so high fidelity.
Yeah. I think if they can get a consistent 30, they're fine.
Yeah, I think so as well. Always will just kind of play that on PlayStation. I don't know. It's not one of those games I usually think of when I want to play a mobile game.
Not a great
Switch
pick
2.
up and put down game.
That
Very much a I want to be here for a couple hours type experience, in my opinion. But if you want it, it's there. I will say it's very interesting to see how quickly Rebirth came after Remake. Remake took a long time. Now maybe that's because we were waiting on Switch 2 to get there, but is this the same? I have to check. Rebirth is not out on Xbox yet, right?
I don't actually. No, it's on PC. I don't think it's on Xbox.
Is it on PC? It is on PC. And so I wonder if this is launching day and date on the Xbox.
Let me see.
It's coming June 3rd. Yeah, so it's coming everywhere. It's coming everywhere else June 3rd. Much faster turnaround, I think. I guess not, because 2024, February of 24 to June of 26. I guess that is about the same amount of time we waited for Remake to get to other... No, because Remake, it was like a year until Remake made it to PC. And then it was a while until
I think it was
to
exactly a
Xbox.
year.
Remake may not have gotten to Xbox until 24. 23, 24, something like that.
Well,
so,
I guess
it was a while.
find that
but Rebirth coming around much faster. Much faster.
Wait, whoa. Final Fantasy VII Remake, I'm seeing January 22nd, 2026. For Xbox and Nintendo Switch 2.
January 22nd probably would have been the Switch 2 version for a Remake.
I thought the Xbox Series X came out before that. But I guess not.
I thought it was... Is Remake not already on Xbox? I thought it already was.
It is now, but not only just this past January.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Okay. Well, regardless, it's still interesting that the Rebirth walls came down a lot faster. I think that's Square Enix pushing and being like, hey, we need to sell more because otherwise this third one's not coming out.
Make more money.
Yeah. So
they deserve it.
It is what it is. Pragmata, April 24th, 2026. Coming to Nintendo Switch 2. Very exciting. Confirmed a demo. You can now play the demo, which I think also meant that the demo went live on every other platform. So, I don't know why you would play Pragmata on your Switch 2. But if you want to, there it is. It's there for you.
This game will be good.
Pragmata?
Yeah.
I think so as well. I don't think it'll be blow you out of the water, but I think it's hanging at in terms of top 10 end of the year lists. I think it's hanging around in that 10 to 7 range.
We shall see pretty soon here.
I could be wrong, and it may creep its way into like 6 or maybe even 5, but I think it's in that 10 to 7. Turok Origins Fall 2026. This was an announcement, Connor, an official announcement of a new Turok game.
Yes, I have a really fondness for Turok.
Do you?
I really do. I do. Yeah, it was.
This is news to me,
one of the
Connor.
first...
I didn't know. I feel like there's like a joke coming at the end of this.
There's not. I've experienced Turok in a multitude of forms in my formative years, both with one of my neighbors playing it, and I was always scared of the gore, which is to say it was not really gory at all. I needed like the green blood effect. I remember that vividly. And I also remember going to this Western style barber shop, and they had what was it? It was a Nintendo 64, and it was a Turok on that game, on that console. And I would play it for a long period of time, whenever it was as long as I could at a barbershop. And I remember just never being able to do anything really with it at all, because, in the same way when you go to a doctor's office and play a game console, if they have one, you don't really get a chance to play it for long periods of time. But I also then played the Xbox 360, not remake, but the more advanced, newer version of Turok. And I remember really liking it, even though reviews were sour on it. So I saw this, and I was thinking to myself, might have to. I know there's another Turok game, I think, getting a remaster or something like that, or a remake.
I don't know.
I think the first one was getting remade. But
Turok is such a different time, like that.
It is.
I missed that boat. Moving along into the anime-esque style of games, we're going to blow through a lot of these. Kyoto Zandu, coming summer 2026. Digimon Storytime Stranger, July 10th, 2026. People liked that game from last year.
They did.
Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, July 9th, 2026. Connor, any opinions?
Oh, I heard it was very good, the Relink.
Monster Hunter Stories 3, Twisted Reflections, March 13th, 2026. People like these games? These are solid games. These are not blow your hair back, but they're fun.
A lot of the discourse I've been seeing around this one is people are basically disappointed with main Pokemon games because they should be more, at least visually, like this one, because it does look very pretty. And I do understand that, because it is kind of a lot of what Pokemon's about, the monsters being replaced with Pokemon and, riding them as mounts on an open world. And it just seems like this does that better than Pokemon has done for most of its modern history. But of course, I'm not a big Pokemon guy anymore, not as I was back then, so maybe that's a bit unfair to it, but it definitely just visually looks like something Pokemon should be headed more in the direction of.
Well, speaking of games with an outdated art style, Connor, we've got Console Archives and Arcade Archives 2 coming out today and beyond, or out now and beyond, where you get a big old collection of old classic arcade and old games. They're old. They're very old. So
Ninja Gaiden 2,
Brave Racer, Ninja Gaiden 2, The Dark Sword of Chaos, Doraemon and Sonic Wings Special, and more.
So much more.
Whoever wants that, have fun. And then there was a scissor reel with a bunch of stuff. Scott Pilgrim EX, another Eden Begins, Reanimal, WWE 2K26, Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown, Disney Dreamlight Valley, PGA Tour, Cold Step Begins, Goat Simulator 3, Shadow Tactics, Blades of the Shogun, Tales of Arise, Beyond the Dawn Edition. All of those coming out sometime between February and summer. So if any of those strike your fancy, you can find that. I'm sure they've got things for it. I forgot to mention it on the podcast. Back to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's worth noting that when the game comes out, Rebirth is getting a price cut. Down to $40 in all territories, except for North America, where it's going to be $50. Thank you, Donald Trump. Thank you, all you Republican idiots who voted for him.
I was questioning this when you brought it up before the show. The digital part too? That too?
Connor, we don't live in a world where digital and physical are different.
Oh, Tavin.
I don't know why. I don't even know why that would be a question in your brain. Why would that even be a question in your mind?
Because how supply lines matter when it's a digital product. It shouldn't matter. It should bypass it.
Connor, you're right. It should. But it doesn't. And we don't live in that world. We've never lived in that world.
Whatever.
All right. Resident Evil Requiem coming to Switch 2, same day as everywhere else, February 27th, 2026. One thing that I thought was funny about this trailer is because it's a PG show, the Leon was missing his shots on purpose.
Yeah, I was seeing someone mention that before I actually watched it, and definitely like contextualize it when I decided to view it. I get it. I mean, people who are little baby people who play baby games watch these things, so you got to keep them in mind.
I mean, the Switch is for children, but okay.
Well, it's for people with $500, which is not children.
Fastest selling console of all time. I don't know what to tell you, Connor.
Yeah, and it's not children
fastest
buying
selling
them.
console with no lineup. Like,
Yeah.
We got Donkey Kong, we got Mario Kart.
And
Hades
all the other
2
Switch
is
games.
cool for nerds like us, but that's nerds like us.
Tavin, all the other Switch games now are better. They're made better by being on the better console.
They are made better.
all that
And
matters.
then we got a big output from Xbox as our big one more thing. There's 3 games coming from Xbox Game Studios, that being Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition, and Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Yeah,
those will all be
Bethesda
coming
games.
out. Oblivion sometime later this year. Fallout 4 February 24th. And Indiana Jones May 12th.
I mean, certainly Fallout and Oblivion make a lot of sense. Just putting all Bethesda's games on the Nintendo Switch, they're good to carry around and play with like pick up and play games, like you were talking about before. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, I would say, doesn't. It can be picked up and played whenever, but definitely one I think is better sitting down and spending some time with it, digging into it rather than just kind of playing on the go. But still, hey, Bethesda
Kind of
games.
surprised that we didn't get a Skyrim Switch 2 edition. Kind of surprised about that. Kind of surprised that they're going with the Fallout 4. I mean, I guess it's the most recent single-player one, so I guess that makes sense. But that's not the one. I don't know. If you're gonna do one, why not do them all?
I mean,
Because
it seems
resources
to make
are a
sense.
thing, I guess, and they can only port
Yeah.
so many games at once. Sure, why not? All right, we'll get Fallout 3. We'll get New Vegas on there. 76 will be on there at some point, I imagine.
Well, we'll see. I would imagine, yeah, with all their multiplayer expansionism.
It's just
Think
like
you jump into that.
I get Oblivion and Connor. I understand why they're putting Indiana Jones there, but like Fallout 4 is the one where I go, really, that one, the decade old one. Okay,
Oblivion's even well, it's the remaster.
it's the remaster. It looks prettier. Like Oblivion remaster looks better than Fallout 4.
Mhm.
So it's just kind of like, all right, cool. So, but like, where's Starfield? Where's Fallout 76? Where's anything Bethesda's been doing for the last however many years? But I guess we'll take what we can get here. You know what I'm saying? And I imagine they did want something out for season 2 of the show, which has been well received, but more mild than season 1 for sure.
And that was
Neat. And ladies and gentlemen, that was your Nintendo Direct
That was it.
breakdown for the Partner Showcase. Connor, are you excited to play your Nintendo Switch 2 in 2026?
Not particularly, but there's some things, there's some good things, and that's good. That's good.
Fire Emblem, man. At some point, we're going to get that, But
We'll have the best showcase where it's a mix of Duskbloods and just Fire Emblem, nothing else. We'll throw Professor Layton in there. That'll be there too. Those 3 games. It'll be a nice showcase. It'll be very nice.
that was great, Connor. That was great. Moving on. Topic number 2. Connor, this is going to be your first penny of the day. Go ahead, take it away, my friend.
Yes, this is from IGN. Good old IGN. Simon Cardy from IGN. Never heard his name, so he's probably not that important. Baldur's Gate.
We've read a number of his articles on this show in the past.
I don't believe it.
Okay.
We have.
Simon Cardy, man. He's big over at IGN,
You know what? I'm
He's
sorry.
a Brit.
Simon. I made it as a joke, but apparently it wasn't even a good joke. So I'm sorry, Cardy. Simon Cardy. Baldur's Gate TV series set for HBO will be a continuation of Baldur's Gate 3's story. Wow. Larian Studios' multi-award-winning fantasy RPG Baldur's Gate 3 is set for its own TV series on HBO and will be helmed by The Last of Us co-creator Craig Mazin. As reported by Deadline, a television adaptation of the acclaimed game set in Dungeons & Dragons universe is in development at the network, and interestingly, will be a continuation of the story from the Baldur's Gate 3 game. The television show will reportedly take place after the events of Larian's RPG and follow the characters players grew to love over time as they grapple with the aftermath of its world-changing ending. The series will be helmed by Craig Mazin, no stranger to adapting video games to live action, following his work co-creating HBO's The Last of Us with Naughty Dog's Neil Druckmann. A huge fan of Baldur's Gate 3, Mazin told Deadline that, quote, after putting nearly 1,000 hours into the incredible world of Baldur's Gate 3, it is a dream come true to be able to continue the story that Larian and Wizards of the Coast created. I am a devoted fan of D&D and the brilliant way that Sven Vink and his gifted team adapted it. He continued, I can't wait to help bring Baldur's Gate 3 and all of its incredible characters to life with as much respect and love as we can, and I'm deeply grateful to Gabe Morano and his team at Hasbro for entrusting me with this incredibly important property, end quote. By taking on this project that has no ties to any other Baldur's Gate game in the pipeline, Mazin will have free reign over what story he wishes to tell, but we do know that it will include both existing and brand new members of the BG3 cast. Shadowheart, Karlach, Asterion, who are you most looking forward to see on the your television screen? Mazin reportedly plans to reach out to the cast of the games to sound out how best to approach their roles in the TV show, and if they'd want to be involved, something The Last of Us did with Merle Dandridge reprising her role as Marlene, for example. Of course, the ending of Larian's multiple Game of the Year award-winning RPG can vary massively depending on how you choose to play the game, so it will be highly intriguing to see how Mazin and go about choosing which ending is canon for them. It may well be a while yet before we see Baldur's Gate arrive on a small screen, with Mazin still attached to complete production on The Last of Us, which is gearing up for its third and maybe final season. I mean,
well, yeah, the announcement of this tells me, yeah, it's Last of Us is done after season 3.
Yeah, which I immediately assumed it would be, as I think most people did. So it's kind of weird that they were. I thought there was
a very certain chance that like they could run Last of Us into the ground pretty easily. Personally, like I thought.
They could have.
I thought they were going to Game of Thrones it, where they were just going to like, all right, we're going to go past the books, and then we're going to do a spinoff, and then we're going to tell you stories of The Last of Us that you never heard in the universe, and this, that, and the third. Is where I thought that was going. But I think the season 2 response being so negative, I think has kind of changed the tune of that. And they go, all right, well, let's just finish what we've got and then we'll move on. And I don't think Baldur's Gate is a good choice. I don't think this is a good choice at all. Specifically making it a sequel to Baldur's Gate 3, I think is a misstep. Like, that means you will be canonizing choices that players may or may not have made, which means players will immediately disagree with the world state that you begin your world in. And I think that kind of takes away, like, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me to make a Dungeons and Dragons based anything, because player agency, player choice, crafting the narrative with the player is such a fundamental part of that experience that, like, just making a fantasy show based off of that, like, I mean, I guess it's cool that we'll get mind flayers, but
there's so much more
anything else from that, you know? Like, I don't know.
To me, I think you're just speaking from a very limited experience with D&D, Tavin. You can easily come up with a lot of different stories that were. I understand, like, I also don't like that they're making a canon ending to Baldur's Gate 3 for them to continue off of. But I mean, look at the success of the Chris Pine Dungeons and Dragons movie. Look at the success.
That movie bombed. What are we talking about?
The success of the critical
financially,
but people not financially. Okay, I'm not talking about financial success. People like that movie. But I was gonna say the success of the Critical Role Amazon show based off of the what do they call it? The Critical Role TV show,
yeah.
Obviously. Not the TV show, but the podcast, D&D thing from all the voice actors and everything.
Like, I think it's just a struggle to craft narratives that people care about. Like,
I mean,
and the Dungeons and Dragons movie got away with it because it was a comedy and it was funny, and they had Chris Pine and what's her name from Fast and Furious running around making dumb jokes. Like that's why people like that movie. They didn't like it because it was a Dungeons and Dragons movie. And then like, you can bring Critical Role, but that's a fan base on top of a fan base that's already bought in. Like, well, and they're excited to see the stories that they already lived as they watched all the funny moments happen live in front of them. Like,
Dungeons and Dragons to me is just a backbone that you can base a story off of. Like, it's just a world with a set of rules. Like, you can come up with whatever you want after that.
Especially the movie, because it frames itself as being like trying to embody that spirit of being a party of a bunch of fucking idiots. Because usually when you play a D&D game, people are making decisions that maybe aren't the best ones, and because it's all fun and games, so you're able to just be wacky with it. And the show embodied that really well, tying in, combat. I mean, even the structure, I think, it's been a while since I watched it, but I believe the structure of combat kind of conforms itself to how D&D plays, like on the tabletop, like taking actions, who gets initiative, fucking up spells, and then also doing things like, for example, there's a heist moment. There are heist things you do in D&D when you're RPing. And so,
I think all of this works in the realm of comedy. Like, I think as soon as you take a dramatic take on that, having it being in a linear form of entertainment like television, like, I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just a so much harder mountain to climb.
Well, that's my thing. Is it's more than just a comedy. It's also an adventure, and it kind of pokes fun at the idea of how adventures in D&D are structured. I'm just trying to argue that it's more for the backbone of any kind of property you wish to do, whether it's a TV show or a movie or whatever the hell. You could do a lot more with it, but you're restricting yourself for this specific story by making it a Baldur's Gate 3 continuation, which you're only doing because it's Baldur's Gate 3, and HBO, just like with The Last of Us, knows that's a very popular franchise. People have a lot of eyes on it and really like the narratives in that game, and they see it basically the exact same thing with Baldur's Gate 3, and so they're just like, hey, let's continue on with this trend of video game TV shows, and let's make it the other big one that took the world by storm. I mean, it's kind of why also you're seeing Elden Ring get its own like movie. It's because people in that sphere of entertainment see how successful these IPs are and just want to capitalize off of it. And this
for
is
sure.
just that.
I just don't think we live. I just don't think we currently live in a world like I don't think pop culture is in a place where they care about these things. I look at other fantasy-based television series that are based on other fantasy IPs like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, and they've done their spin-offs, they've done their shows that are based off of these things that are prequels, sequels, etc., and none of them have worked. And I just don't have faith that one, making an adaptation of a video game and making it a continuation and a sequel, that's not going to pull in new audiences. And two, like it being a spin-off of another IP that is Dungeons and Dragons and having this like more serious tone to it, like without player agency, I don't see how that works as well in television.
It's a bit weird, and that as new viewers, I mean, I know HBO is kind of one of those channels where when something new pops up, there's a lot of people who just go to watch it to see what if HBO has a new hotness out.
HBO means premiere, yeah, to a lot of people.
Yeah, so people tune in just for that. The Game of Thrones stuff. The issue with those is those have books that they're following. I know the House of the Dragon kind of goes off the rails on that.
That's what I was referencing.
Yeah, okay, but then also A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, the one going on right now, that's also a book, and so at least there was intentionality with those adaptations. This one there just doesn't seem to be as much of one.
And then whatever that Lord of the Rings show is that Amazon had a few years ago.
Yes, Rings of Power.
Yeah, like we'll see. I'm more than like happy to be wrong, more than welcome to be wrong. But I think they've got so much going against them that like this is where IP starts to trap you and not help you.
Exactly. Yeah, that'll be there for them to work out, I guess. See if they.
I'm glad I'm not in that room because that sounds painful. And especially with like Craig Mazin and the response that Mazin's writing in Last of Us 2 had, and people feeling like he misinterpreted characters. I don't personally feel that way, at least not as strongly as others do. I get that he's that guy now. I don't know if that's the right choice, but we'll see.
Neither do I.
We'll see.
Yep, we will see indeed.
It would be a stronger choice if it was something more original.
That'll work.
Moving on to topic number 3, Connor. This is going to be your second penny of the day. Please take us away, please.
When this happened, Tavin, I got so excited.
I know you did.
So excited.
I know you did.
VGC. Andy Robinson over at VGC.
Shout out.
Overwatch is dropping the 2, adding 10 new heroes, and coming to Switch 2 in major revamp. I tried to burp. I'm not going to try anymore. Fuck. Okay. A Nintendo Switch 2 version of the game has also been confirmed with a release date later this year alongside its second 2026 season. From February 10th, Overwatch will kick off a year-long narrative arc the Reign of Talon that will unfold across 6 seasons. Blizzard says this is the first, quote, fully connected annual storyline, end quote, in Overwatch history, with world building, events, hero launches, and art direction centered around the fictional Talon group's rise. According to Blizzard, the Talon narrative will evolve in real time through in-game events, cinematics, and hero trailers, short stories and comics, live map and visual updates, updated maps reflecting events in the story, new voice lines and character interactions, and a, quote, fully integrated, end quote, narrative viewer. Kind of like maybe a little bit like a Concord, huh? Kind of like Concord. No, maybe these guys are salvaging the space, being the
Connor,
vultures they are.
This is.
It's literally what it is. It's also funny enough, like kind of like Final Fantasy 16, though that's more about the character interaction. No, I think they talked about more.
Are you
about
talking
stories.
the active time lore thing?
Yeah.
That's not really what this is.
Yeah, definitely more Concord. Notably, Season 1 will add 5 new heroes to Overwatch, an unprecedented addition for the series, and a total of 10 will be added across all of 2026. I'm not going to read the name of I'm going to name the name and their role, but that's all.
Okay.
You got Domina, a tank. She's from... I'm not gonna. Yeah, Domina. She's a tank. Amir, a damage DPS character. Mizuki, a support character. A damage character named Anron, and of course the hot character, the support character, Jetpack Cat.
It's called Jetpack Cat.
It is called Jetpack Cat.
The hamster got a name, but not the cat.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. February 10th, we'll also see Overwatch give a full interface overhaul in what
To be clear, it does have a name.
Oh.
It's just called Jetpack Cat. Like Wrecking Ball. His real name is Hammond, the hamster. That's what you're referring to. The actual name of the cat is I had it here earlier. It is.
It's like meat. It's gonna start with an M.
We don't need to be stuck on this.
Okay, but it has a name. To be clear.
Well, you could call in. You can jump in if you find it out. February 10th will also see Overwatch give a full interface overhaul in what Blizzard's calling, quote, the largest menu redesign, end quote, in franchise history. That includes a new 3D hero lobby in Season 1, expanded to full party in Season 4, new notification hub, faster navigation, plus reduced friction, revamped hero gallery, social panel, and global navigation. Speaking to Eurogamer, game director Aaron Keller called the revamp, quote, our most ambitious launch that we've ever had for Overwatch, end quote, and continuing the quote, the largest year we've ever had, end quote, but stopped short of describing it as a relaunch. Quote, we think about it as more an expansion for the game, he said. End quote. The idea is that Overwatch will have a big story arc each year, starting with Reign of Talon. Quote, if you look at the year, we're just jumping into it. Yes, we have this massive moment at the start, and we do want to do something big next year. But at the same time, we are releasing a new hero every season this year, and it's something we've never done before. So this is, in essence, us really committing to something bigger, end quote. In a press conference, Blizzard emphasized its commitment to Overwatch after a tough few years in which it backtracked on big new features and lost some of the excitement from its original iteration. Quote, we look at this business as something that will carry Overwatch to the next 10 years, said Walter Kong, head of live service development at Blizzard. We don't look at it as a sprint, but a marathon, end quote. Blizzard president Johanna Ferries added, quote, I think there's a vision that Overwatch is a pillar for Blizzard that we believe is a timeless game. It's not limited to chronology. It's certainly not limited to number structures. And as we think about putting a forever game mindset to this universe, not only for what it is today, but what it can continue to grow to become multiple experiences. End quote. Yeah, Overwatch, I think it's back. It's here to stay this time.
It's certainly the attempt here, right? Is to bring it back. We're bringing it back. We're dropping the 2. We're adding a bunch of heroes, new maps, new menus, new story that, Overwatch nerds can sink their teeth into. Everything about this sounds great to me, Connor. It sounds great. The problem is that this should have been what Overwatch 2 was. And Overwatch 2 came out and you had nothing. You ruined the core game mode, which you then reversed and switched a few months to a year plus ago. And then, just a bunch of nothing came out of that, and there was a bunch of unfulfilled promises. Now, all of that was under former Blizzard management, which has since then been, replaced by Microsoft and Xbox. So I think that this is much more of the Overwatch team is reclaiming Overwatch, and they are restoring the vision of what Overwatch was always supposed to be, which on paper sounds great. can they keep up with that? Can they keep up with the timelines? Can they give updates? Can they give these characters on the track that they are promising that they will, and not fall behind or have to cancel some of these ideas or move on entirely? I've not been keeping up with what the Overwatch 2 situation has been. So, like, has there been new characters added? I mean, I know there has, but, like, at a consistent rate, in which case, when did they have time to suddenly have 10 more characters that they can release over the next 8 months? No, I'm sorry, 10 months. Like, when did they have time to play test and work and design through all of these things, you know? If it's been quite a while since we've had new updates like this, then that makes sense of how they were able to do that. But I have a lot of questions of how, and most of it is rooted in I just wasn't paying attention to Overwatch 2. But, I mean, this headline got my ears perked up. I went and installed Overwatch 2, and tomorrow I might, which is February 10th, which is today by the time you hear this, I might spin the wheel, or I might, kick the tires and see what's going on in Overwatch tomorrow, and see what their new era is, and see what this new menu is, and see all of these great things that they are promising to add. Will it actually live up to the hype that Overwatch once had? I don't know. There's that quote in there that you read of, like, this is our biggest expansion yet, or whatever they said.
Overhaul for interface overhaul.
No,
it was more like
our most ambitious launch that we've had for Overwatch.
Oh,
I mean that's probably what the original launch was the most ambitious one, and then on top of that, it's what Overwatch 2 should have been. Like, there's just this like nugget of negativity that I don't want to feed into, but it's kind of what it was. But if this is us beginning the path to earn player trust back, I'm totally down, because I still say Overwatch is the highest quality hero shooter on the market. Like, I just think it is. And if this is a way that we can, because the numbers have already been slowly coming back. I've been catching the headlines of, like, Overwatch gets new peak this in the 2020s or XYZ, like, happening every couple of months or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. The fans are coming back to Overwatch. Can they get the masses back in? And if this is how they do it, then mazel tov. More power to them.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who's always hated on Overwatch, especially because it's ran by, it was created. Well,
let's be honest. You have not always hated on Overwatch.
No, but all in terms of this podcast. 2016, so many years ago, Tavin. 2017,
so many years ago.
2018,
so many years ago. I mean,
so many years ago.
Overwatch 2 being announced happened in the very early days of this podcast.
It did, and nothing to show for it.
Nothing.
Which, I mean, it was a game that as time went on, I soured on, and they do have the chance to bring me back, because as you were saying this is just what I thought Overwatch would be from the get-go. I remember when that game first came out, and they did all these character trailers, and they seemed to be creating like a bigger universe than they seemingly were ending up going, like what they ended up doing. And I know a lot of people were disappointed about that. I was one of them. I still stuck around for the game, even when that I realized wasn't coming to fruition. But it's definitely the kind of thing that adds life to games like this. You have to have more than just, the gameplay loop of, leveling up your character in competitive, leveling up your rank in competitive, and, getting all new unlocks, new costumes for your characters. That only can carry a game so far. You need continuous heroes being dropped, which is obviously what they're going for now. And you need some kind of framework that makes you interested in the world of Overwatch to add that extra bit of flair. And this seems to be, the best way to go about doing it, but it's just the fact that you've screwed up so many times in the past. You don't have any, you could get goodwill, but you shouldn't have any trust that you're going to be able to do this successfully.
I am willing to give them grace and say, Epstein file inhabitor Bobby Kotick was one of the main reasons as to why we lost all of our trust in Overwatch. I'm willing to give the team that amount of grace.
You see, Tavin,
but past that, now you do have to do the legwork to get it working. And to be fair, for a lot of us that dropped out at the Overwatch 2 update, or even before it, like myself, where I dropped out a few years before Overwatch 2 happened. Well, we've got a bunch of updates. We've had a bunch of new maps and a bunch of new heroes added over however many years. And then here we go. We've got a fresh batch of heroes coming to you right now. That's a new game. Like, essentially, if all of the gameplay is based on how heroes play and interact with each other, like it's as like, as funny as it would be, this is going to be Overwatch 2 to me because I haven't played in 5+ years, 6+ years. So, like, I'm coming to a completely new game that I can see and experience new things in. And I still have my familiar faces. I still have my Soldier 76 and my Doomfist and my Mercy and my Diva and my Roadhog. Like, those are still there. And then on top of that, hey, here's all these other new characters you can try, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I might try it out. And I do hope they actually, well, I hope the nefarious figures over at working at the studio are gone. I don't know if they are, but if they are, I hope this game succeeds. I hope those people move past the kind of bad history Overwatch has left to take people's mouth. And by the way, though, I will say, again, going back to the fact that collectibles are a big part of this, know that if you pay for microtransactions, you are pro-pedophilia. As we have recently covered, it was all created. It seemingly all was the idea was come up by people like Epstein, along with people like Bobby Kotick. Maybe directly, they were the two most responsible for the advent of microtransactions. So every single time you're about to buy anything in any video game, not just Overwatch, just think that you know who you're supporting when you do that, and you are morally weaker as a result of it. You agree, Tavin? Yes.
All right, we're not going to pretend like both of us have not ever purchased a microtransaction in our
no,
lives.
but see, that's of course we have, Tavin, but that's because we were operating off of a lack of knowledge. Now we have gained knowledge, and are we going to keep acting the same way? Is that what knowledge is supposed to be done? Are you supposed to learn things and then not change?
The island's shut down, Connor. Like, they're not actively.
Oh, is it?
Yes, right. Like that was the whole
point. This is a honeypot situation, a blackmail scheme.
The two biggest conspirators were in jail, and one of them killed himself.
And remember, they weren't working with anybody else, Tavin. That's what the FBI said, and that's true, right?
The President of the United States.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing. Were they working with the President of the United States, or was he one of these many people they were trying to blackmail in a larger operation, just a part of a whole?
He wasn't president yet.
He was not. Yeah, well, he was. He was when they were. Well,
when they arrested Epstein, he was.
He was, yeah. And by the way, I will say, and this is completely off topic.
It's been a very long 10 years.
It has been very long. I will say there was I don't know the veracity of it. Is that the word I'm looking for? The verification.
Are we still?
I can't verify it.
Okay.
Yeah. I did just continuation from last week. There was a death certificate. There was a death announcement for Epstein, seemingly written the day before he actually died. Just saying.
All right.
All
right.
Just saying.
Overwatch.
Overwatch, yeah. Well, we're talking about pedophiles.
To see what happens. I would like to kick the tires. Hopefully this next week, but we'll see on it and check out what they've got going on in there. And if it grabs me, it grabs me. I don't know if it will. I think now that Marvel Rivals has kind of calmed down a little bit, I think I think this is a good time for them to step back into the ring with a chunky update like this. So very interested to see what's going on. I'm also interested to see what happens, Connor, at this week's PlayStation State of Play.
I am too, Tavin. In fact, I think this is going to be the best PlayStation State of Play because it will have Bloodborne Remastered, guys. We got it confirmed. You'll see it.
So, State of Play returns this Thursday, February 12th. I'm reading from the PlayStation blog. Get ready to watch over an hour of game news and updates from developers across the globe. Tune in live this Thursday for 60-plus minutes of news, gameplay updates, and announcements from game studios across the globe. February State of Play will spotlight eye-catching third-party and indie games headed to PS5, along with the latest from teams at PlayStation Studios.
Now.
Broadcast Thursday, February 12th, like I said, 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time, 11 p.m. CET. I don't know what time that is. So it's 4 p.m. our time, which is Central Time, the best time. The time that's always forgotten about.
Everything should be. That's fine.
State of Play. This also comes off the back of PlayStation announcing a new Horizon multiplayer game from Guerrilla. The new co-op, where is it? There it is. Guerrilla's Horizon live service multiplayer game, Horizon Hunters Gathering. Great name, Connor. Great name. Did you watch any of the Hunters Gathering stuff?
I did. It looked nice, even though it's
I think it looked quality. I think it looks good.
Industry plant, but still, good look good.
It's like a little bit Monster Hunter. It's a little bit Elden Ring Night Rain. It's a little bit X. It's a little bit Z, and then they threw it in a pot and they said, hey, look, it looks like a thing. And I'm like, all right, cool. No, I think Hunter's Gathering looks solid. I would like to try it out when it does come out. I don't like that in their big announcement video that they didn't put like the beta test or the closed beta in. None of the beta information is in the video, which is crazy because there is a closed beta coming. I'm probably not going to participate in it, but who knows? Maybe I'll look into it or whatever, but I probably won't. And I think it looks good. I think it's got a good art style to it. And we're just gonna have to wait and see on impressions from there. But I don't understand why it was not included in the state of play. Like this happened, like they announced this game a few days ago, and then now today, this morning, they announced this state of play. Why is this not included? Is it because it's already an hour long and we didn't need another 9 minutes, tacked onto it? I don't know. Connor,
because it's not worth it. This is 9 minutes. 9 minutes away from the state of play, when you could be giving us more. Whatever FromSoft game is coming. I would assume there's probably not going to be a From Software game coming, Connor. But Bloodborne remaster.
There's not going to be a Bloodborne remaster, Connor. We got to move on, guys. We got
Bloodborne 2. Then
we have to move on. We're just sitting here.
You're not
stuck
moving
in the
on,
past. We got to move on.
No,
State of play, 60 minutes, third party and PlayStation Studios from around the world. Does listen, that runtime excites me. That's a chunky state of play. And if your big multiplayer Horizon game is not in it, what do you have in it? Like that feels like, while maybe not the most exciting one last thing, it feels like it would have been and one more thing from the people behind the main Horizon games, So what's going on here? What are we doing?
Definitely, I think we'll see some oh shit titles drop. Since this will plan out, I think they're big games for the year. And as it's been often criticized, PlayStation 5, what games has it got, huh? So, I wonder if we'll see a lot of first party titles coming here. But the sky's basically the limit because I'm trying Final Fantasy tab. Oh, we see some Final Fantasy stuff. Like maybe some kind of remake, because I know there have been
like a title reveal, a little announcement trailer of 7 Remake Part 3. I could see that. That could be there for sure. Why not?
Yeah.
We're 60 minutes deep. We got time to spare on this thing, and we know 7 Remake Part 3 has been developing smoothly. It's been going quite well. Funny, that's the only Square Enix Final Fantasy based IP that they talk about with any type of positivity, like overwhelming positivity.
Yeah.
Wonder where that little game with the little Mickey Mouse is at. Wonder where
that is true.
Wonder where that's
where
at.
is
they
he?
don't
we heard
when
nothing.
they talk about that, they say it's progressing, but they don't say smoothly, they don't say nicely, they don't say going well. None of those words ever appear. They always go, and we're making it, we're working on it,
You're just fucking hating on it.
That's bait.
Like, yeah.
Anyways,
I mean,
7 Remake Part 3, I could see you're not getting a 17.
Okay, I know we're not getting a 17. Were you joking on the Kingdom Hearts thing? You don't think it's going to be here? Like, or at least had a chance
Absolutely
to be here?
fucking not.
It's a chance to be here, though. Definitely has a big chance.
It's been so like yes, in the same chance that there's like Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be here, Connor. Like the fuck.
Oh, Tavin, there's way more of a higher chance of this being. It's in development. It's coming, whether you like it or not. It's coming.
No,
and
I'm
just
aware.
Because they didn't say flowery language when they talk about that game, I know they need you to keep your attention somehow.
I think I said it in the Kingdom Hearts 2 review that we did. Is that Kingdom Hearts always feels like the side thing that they're working on, and that they're not committing like the most resources to. So like, yeah, we'll see. we'll see.
Oh, we
but
will
it's
see,
not,
buddy.
I would not be surprised if you don't see anything from Kingdom Hearts 4 all year.
Mm-hmm. I hope you choke on this soon. I really hope you do. Beyond that, though, I guess not really beyond that because we're reversing to Final Fantasy again. We did get those rumors that Final Fantasy IX was getting a remake, like a bit of a smaller scale remake, not as much as like the Final Fantasy VIIs. Might be one of the things that come out here because there's this trend wherever I start playing a game, something connected to it seems to come out, whether it's a remaster or remake, a sequel. This happens with a lot of things I decide to take part in the entertainment industry. And so since I've been playing Final Fantasy IX, I'm willing it into existence. That will be here.
We could certainly get sort of like a HD What they just did with Dragon Quest VII reimagining. We could see that for a Final Fantasy IX or maybe even a 6. I know 6 has been in the rumor mill for a while as well. So we'll see. We could get those things. I wouldn't bet any hard money on it. I think in terms of marketing, it's confusing to just have a bunch of Final Fantasy remakes all at once. So I think they want to finish 7 before they start pushing for another one. But I could be wrong. You know, all of these things are separate, and if it's a smaller thing, then it's more geared towards old fans and less towards new players. You know, so they could just as easily do that. Capcom, fucking
yeah.
This is the last moment to market Resident Evil and Pragmata. So could be here. I'm good on Resident Evil. I don't need to see another clip.
Yeah, so am I.
No more. You've done your job. You've marketed the game. It exists. It's coming. We're excited. Please, no more. Pragmata, you're getting pretty close to that too. We've seen a lot of Pragmata. Monster Hunter Wilds expansion.
I could easily see that. Those that more connected to the Xbox.
They jump around.
Yeah. So I mean, I definitely could. They kind of need to continue to do what they usually do with these games, specifically World, where they do expansions. So sounds about time to announce it. Something that comes out later this year. Saros. I have a feeling we might see some Saros here. These state of plays are.
I'm willing to say almost definitely Saros is going to be here. This is our last real chance to like market it in a big way and with the most amount of eyes on it. And so this is probably honestly where you get your big. Here's 10 minutes of Saros like systems and game. Well, I guess we kind of already did that, didn't we?
Oh, did we?
Kind of. Like they did like a Saros. They did a Saros state of play, and then they showed off how gameplay works, and we all looked at it and went, "Yep, it's more Returnal. Great, can't wait."
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you still need to market it, I think, a bit better than Returnal. So, maybe
you still
focus
need to
less
market
on
it,
systems.
Yeah.
So,
I would expect another trailer and probably some more gameplay and stuff in there. I think if they have anything, Returnal did get a co-op mode. So if like they're like, hey, and co-op is coming, like that would be a good like little marketing beat to tack on there at the end of the trailer or something of like co-op later this year or something like that.
Well, I mean, beyond that, Wolverine might make a showing. I think that.
I think it's probably pretty safe to say Wolverine is going to be here. Now, is it going to be here with a 2026 date? Is the real question. Is that going to happen? And I could definitely see them calling their shot this early on a date of being like, October, here you go. But I could also see them going 2027 and moving on, So it really, really depends on how Sony wants to react to Grand Theft Auto 6, I think.
Yeah. Definitely true. They got to make sure they make money.
Ghost of Yotei Legends.
I
think
maybe a little bit of an announcement for when that's coming.
Almost certainly that gets probably shown here, right? Unless they just do because the Legends the first time around was just a blog post and they said, hey, it's available now or whatever, or like next week, whatever it was back in the day, and they said, hey, you can go play it right now. So they could do that again. I don't think they will because they advertised it so early on. And announced that it was coming, and Legends was also a success. So I think they want to lean into that and be like, "Hey, here's more success. Here, please play more Yotei." You know what I mean? Sell some more copies.
Looking forward to that.
All this, that, and the third. My question is, Connor, is will it be available to download separate from Ghost of Yotei? Like, if you've bought Ghost of Yotei, you already have it, but for like either free to play or like 10 or 20 bones, here's Legends. You know what I mean?
This is the question we have to ask, Tavin, because, I mean, you got to get more people playing this game.
You got to get
Legends is great, but is it big enough to be able to do something like that? Is the big thing? Because, the original Legends, we love it. Obviously.
It was substantial and
it
had some girth to it, but it was not like it was small. It was a small serve.
It was. Yeah. So maybe they'll add a lot more onto it this time around, but I just don't see a standalone thing.
Almost certainly they
will. I think it'll just be like a little moment. Maybe it'll be a day one drop. Like, hey, coming out tonight or tomorrow.
I forget how many missions was in Legends back in the day. I want to say like 6 missions and then a raid. Does that sound right
When
to
you
you?
do those
Connor?
raids.
Somewhere around there.
I
Like
was
that.
thinking 5 missions, but
It might have been that as well. I think you can. You could probably double, maybe even triple the content value. I think.
yeah. But then again, it is free, so maybe they're not trying to dive that much into it, knowing it's not really going to.
That'd be kind of
big
disappointing
problem.
if it was just the same thing again, though.
Sure, yeah, but again, this is not
I
a
guess
game that
that's
you would
just what
expect.
Ghost of Yote was. It's just the same thing again.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I was like, hey, do it again. It worked the first time.
So yeah, I could see. I think Ghost of Yote is a pretty solid look. I'm just trying to reach for anybody else third party.
Blue Point.
First party, but yes.
The first party?
Yeah, Blue Point got acquired when we did the show. Yeah. It was after their Shadow of the Colossus. It was after their Demon Souls, I think, is when they got acquired. We'll see. I don't know, because of course they had their God of War game got canceled. 2 years ago now, and so we'll see where they are in the state of wherever they're going to be for this next thing. That did shake some tree limbs loose. There's always been this 2.5 God of War Metroidvania game that's been rumored to high hell. That was supposed to come out last year, allegedly, and now is allegedly this year. We'll see. Could be that. That could be exciting.
Maybe Tavin. Maybe what's that? No, they got canceled. What was the
What a great time
Detroit
to live
Become
in.
Human guys, right?
Oh,
it's a wonderful
they're
world.
working on Star Wars Eclipse right now. Allegedly.
Yeah, are we gonna see some Star Wars Eclipse?
No,
Quantum Dream stuff, huh? And I think you're writing off too quickly.
I don't think so. Maybe we might see Jedi 3 has been in the rumor mill lately. We could see that here. Possibly. I don't believe we will, but there's a potential for it. I don't think so. But, more of a chance than what was the thing you said Kingdom Hearts 4? Definitely more of a chance than Kingdom Hearts 4.
We'll see. I know, again, you are a hater, so
I
take
am
that
a
with a
hater,
grain of
and I
salt.
wear that with pride.
Mhm.
It's nice to be on the right side of history.
I bet it is. Control Resonant?
As they keep making things. No, I don't think so.
I feel like they do their own thing or here somewhere else. Not a PlayStation State of Play.
That screams Keeley stage to me.
But what's he doing in between that? Well, who knows?
Summer Game Fest.
Yeah.
So,
Fuck.
And I also don't believe Control Resonant is coming this year.
Oh,
Personally.
you don't?
I don't, but I'm very, very, very willing to be wrong on that one. If you can give me Control Resonant in the next 9 months, Connor, I'll be a happy ass boy. Let me tell you what.
Man, it'll be good, I tell you. Well,
I had another one. Oh, Naughty Dog's game, The Heretic Prophet. What is the big word?
Intergalactic.
Intergalactic, The Heretic Prophet. I could see them here. We get a little splash of gameplay.
I just don't see them coming. Something about it. I don't know. I just don't.
Really?
I don't think that's coming. Yeah, I just don't think they would start really ramping these up.
I don't think it's
the year before it comes
likely,
out.
but I could also see we get another, or I said splash of gameplay. I mean like real light splash where like we see Homegirl punch somebody or something. And then maybe like a fade in of 2027, like as a year.
Yeah.
I could see that. That's a possibility. And then we don't hear about it for the rest of the year.
That is possible. I just feel like it would come out in 2027, and that's when they would start really showing things.
You think so?
Rather than the year before.
The
New
Naughty Dog game. They don't want that. That's already got over a year since the last trailer we saw.
Yeah, I mean that's just kind of my point. Where it's like, what do you need to do beyond that before the game really needs to start ramping up marketing? Because it's a Naughty Dog game. We know how much those sell. It's a very anticipated one. It's a big PlayStation mainline title and like mainstay title. So I feel like they don't really need to do that right now at the beginning of 2026.
I mean, I don't think you're wrong, but we have not seen a trailer from that game since 2024.
That's a good thing because it's not going to come out for like much longer. Like it's not coming out this year. I mean, certainly. So why should we see trailers? Why should we see that much stuff before it's really time to start getting it out there?
Just keep building that hype. I mean, we got Last of Us Part 2 trailers. What, Last of Us Part 2 was announced in 2016, right? And then we got interstitial trailers and stuff all the way up to 2020.
Bad decision. You should just keep it light. Again, that's also people wanting to.
I think 2018 was the one where there was that trailer where Joel grabs her from behind, but then they did the bait and switch, right? So like,
but that's the thing. It really relies on being a Last of Us sequel rather than this brand new thing that, I mean, a lot of people like without any kind of attachment to this game is going to see whatever they show and like, oh, maybe there's an actor. Maybe we see who's the guy who's the main character's hunting him. What's the actor's name again? Fuck.
I don't know.
I know I can't
what you're talking about.
But
wouldn't that argument work in reverse because it's a new IP? We need to sell people on it more.
I mean, that makes sense. That is true. It's just, I don't really see the point of that at this point in time. They still could because throw a trailer there. It's a PlayStation event for a PlayStation game.
Well, okay, shit, Well, Connor, let's say Intergalactic is 2027. When in 2027 would we imagine that to be? Because I would imagine it first half.
Summer. That's usually at least I'm just going off of Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
I don't know what the first one was doing. But when did the first one come out?
It came out before we started doing the podcast. We started the podcast in June. July. So then I think Last of Us came out in May.
It came out. The original came out in June. PlayStation 4, they came out in July. August in the UK. Who cares? And then Last of Us Part 2. Oh, that was July. That was definitely July without even looking. Well, no, it was June.
It was June? Okay.
Yeah. So, they've always kind of hit that spot. So I have no reason to believe it wouldn't be that case for their new game, but these things can change depending on what the development's like. So kind of easily subject to change.
Interesting. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you believe is going to be at the State of Play. Make sure maybe we'll have a react. I don't know. We will. We're trying to figure it out. We're gonna figure it out behind the scenes. So make sure you subscribe to that. Let us know what you think down in the comments below about all of today's stories. And as always, like, subscribe, and follow for more. Reminder, you can get this show every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Central Time, youtube.com/@TwoPennyGames or mainstream podcast services of your choice. You can watch us live over at twitch.tv/TwoPennyGames every Monday afternoon. And, of course, make sure you check out the new Two Penny Game Club, your monthly video game book club, which we just did a review for Dark Souls 2. I read a comment from one of the shorts at the top of this episode, so make sure you go and check that out. And make sure in the background you're playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2 for next month's Two Penny Game Club. Very, very excited to see what the opinions and what the verdict will come in on that one. But that is all for this week, and until next time, have a great time. Connor, say goodbye to the people.
Well, boy, howdy. Have a nice day.